We hosted a quiet memorial for my brother, a veteran. It was peaceful. We lit candles. Shared stories. Then someone left a note taped to our door that read, "Serving doesn't make you special. Get over it." That night, our flag was slashed. The pole bent. We reported it. No evidence. But a week later, my son was walking home and heard someone say, "Good thing he's gone. Now they might finally shut up." He looked. It was our neighbor. On his porch. Talking on the phone. We recorded it. Posted it. And watched the entire neighborhood turn on him. My brother, Michael, served in the Marines for almost 10 years. He was deployed 3 times. He came back different after the last one. He never told us everything, but we knew it was bad. There were nights he wouldn't sleep. Sometimes he'd sit on the back porch for hours, just staring. Other times, he'd snap over nothing, then apologize and walk away. Still, he tried. He worked part-time at the local Ace Hardware in Clarksville, Tennessee. He volunteered at the shelter. He fixed stuff for our mom when her knees gave out. He helped me with my deck. He was getting better. Or we thought he was. Then he got sick. Pancreatic cancer? No warning. No chance, really? It moved fast. In 4 months he was gone. After the funeral at the VA cemetery, we didn't want a big thing. Just something small. So we had a memorial at my house. It was quiet. Peaceful. Just family, a couple of his old Marine friends, and some neighbors who knew him. We lit candles on the porch. My son Ethan read a letter he'd written for his Uncle Mike. He barely got through it. Everyone cried. Even the tough guys with the tattoos and old war stories had their heads down. We had the flag up. The one Michael hung himself the day he moved back home. I remember watching him salute it once after a storm passed through. That flag meant something to him. 3 days after the memorial, I found a note taped to our front door. It was printed in bold black letters. "Serving doesn't make you special. Get over it." No name. No signature. Just taped there like they wanted us to see it first thing in the morning. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. Or some kind of sick joke. That night, I was still awake around midnight. I thought I heard something outside, but by the time I got to the window, it was quiet. Next morning, our flag had been slashed. A deep, clean cut right through the center. And the pole? Bent halfway down. Not broken. Just ruined enough that it sagged forward like it was bowing in shame. We reported it. The police came. They looked around, took some photos, but told us there wasn't much they could do. No cameras caught anything. No prints. No one saw anything. We were just supposed to let it go. A week later, Ethan was walking home from his friend's house. It was still light out. He was coming down our street, earbuds in, when he heard a voice nearby. A man, talking on the phone on his porch. Ethan said the voice was loud, and it stopped him in his tracks. "Good thing he's gone. Maybe now they'll finally shut up about it." Ethan turned. The voice was coming from Brad Fenton's house. Our neighbor. He was sitting on his porch with his phone to his ear, drink in hand, like he didn't have a care in the world. Brad lived alone. He worked from home. Never had visitors. Always acted polite enough. Gave that stiff little wave every time you saw him. Never came to any neighborhood events. Never said much unless it was to criticize the HOA or complain about someone's trash cans being out too long. Ethan pulled out his phone and started recording. He got a 38-second clip. Brad was laughing. Saying things like, "They're acting like he died for them personally. He was just another guy in uniform." When Ethan showed me the video, I didn't say anything at first. I just stared at it. I felt something in me crack. All the grief I'd been holding in, all the anger I'd swallowed after the note, after the flag, it all came up at once. I posted the video to our neighborhood Facebook group. No caption. Just, "This is what one of our neighbors thinks about a Marine who served and died for this country. My brother. Our family." The comments started immediately. People were shocked. Some thought it was fake. Others recognized Brad's voice right away. A few neighbors said they'd always gotten a bad vibe from him. One woman said Brad once told her that veterans should stop expecting handouts. Another said he made a snide remark about the flag in her yard. The post exploded. And I wasn't done. Continue the story, add conflicts or story twist, keeping the details sharp and the tone dramatic, use simple words. No ending yet. The post had barely been up for an hour before Brad messaged me directly. "Brad Fenton. Take that video down. That was a private conversation and you're twisting it." I didn't answer. He sent another. "You're making a mistake. You don't know the whole story." "The whole story?" He insulted my dead brother like he was nothing. There was no other side to that. Instead of replying, I shared the video with our local VFW chapter. One of Michael's old friends, Marcus, was a member. He called me that night. "We're not gonna let this slide," he said. "We've got people in that neighborhood too." By morning, the video had been reposted across 3 local community pages. Someone on Nextdoor even dug up an old post Brad had made last year, complaining about overly patriotic neighbors making it impossible to relax on holidays. He wrote, "Some of us don't want to hear about war and service every time we mow the lawn." It got worse for him. One of Brad's clients, a local accounting firm, commented that they'd be reviewing their professional relationship with him. Another neighbor printed the quote from the video and taped it on his mailbox. 3 days later, his trash can was knocked over and someone had filled it with tiny American flags. Hundreds of them. Still, he didn't back down. He tried to fight it. He made a post on his own profile, saying, "People are weaponizing grief for sympathy. I didn't vandalize anything. This is a witch hunt." That post got screenshotted too. Shared. Mocked. Ethan came home from school one day and said one of his teachers, whose husband served, told the whole class about Michael. About what it means to serve. She didn't mention Brad by name, but everyone knew. Then something unexpected happened. A neighbor down the street, Sheila, came forward. She sent me a message and asked if she could come by. She was an older lady, lived here over 30 years. I always thought she kept to herself, but when she sat on our couch, she looked scared. "I need to tell you something," she said. "That night your flag was damaged. I saw Brad outside. Around midnight. He was walking toward your place with something in his hand. Why didn't you say anything?" I asked. She looked down. I was scared. "He threatened my grandson once when his ball went into his yard. He's not right. I didn't want trouble." I understood. But I was done being quiet. "We filed a report again. This time," was Sheila's statement. "Still no arrest. Not enough hard proof," they said. "Just testimony. But I had something better than cops. I had a neighborhood that was turning on him fast." That weekend, I got a knock at the door. It was a man I didn't recognize. Early 40s, clean-cut, built like a cop but dressed casual. Introduced himself as Jake Monroe. Said he served with Michael in Fallujah. He saw the video. Drove from 2 hours away just to shake my hand. "Mike saved my life. Twice," he said. "That man, Brad? He spits on everything we fought for." Jake wasn't just venting. He had a plan. He ran a veteran-owned security company. Said he could set up discreet outdoor cameras around my place and a few others on the block, free of charge. Not just for protection. For proof. In less than 48 hours, we had eyes on the whole block. What happened next? It blew everything wide open. 2 weeks later, 2:14 a.m., the new camera by my garage caught movement. A figure in dark clothes, hoodie up, walking along the side yard. He didn't break in. Didn't spray paint or damage anything. But he left something wedged in the door frame. It was another note. Same font. Same style. This time it read, "Still crying over a dead grunt? Pathetic." We called the police. Gave them the footage. They took it seriously now. They couldn't arrest him yet, but they visited his house. After that, Brad went quiet. But then he got sloppy. 3 nights later, another camera, this one facing Sheila's yard, caught him again. 1:30 a.m. This time, he was tossing something over her fence. It landed by her rose bush. She found it the next morning. A pile of shredded red, white, blue ribbons. Like someone tore them up on purpose. The cops had seen enough. They got a warrant. What they found inside Brad's house shocked even me. In a small box in his garage, they found the slashed remnants of our first flag half-burned candles, same kind we used at the memorial, several printed notes, including drafts of the ones he taped to our door, a USB drive. Contents still pending. They arrested him for stalking, harassment, and destruction of property. And just when we thought it was over, the real twist hit. On that USB drive were voice recordings. Brad had been recording phone calls with someone he referred to only as Don. They talked about getting rid of the veteran noise in the neighborhood. About how it looked when the flag stuff made the news. About me. Don wasn't just anyone. He was the president of our HOA. And he'd been helping Brad stay off the radar the whole time. When I found out about Don, the HOA president, I didn't believe it at first. He was always polite to me. Sent cards when Michael died. Shook my hand at the memorial. Told me, Your brother was the kind of man we need more of. That was a lie. Once the police had those recordings, it all unraveled. Turns out Don and Brad had been talking for months. Brad hated the flags, the memorial, the signs people put up. Said it made the neighborhood look too political. Don agreed. He didn't want people getting the wrong impression about the community. That's why the HOA never fined Brad for his overgrown yard, his noisy late-night music, or the time he spray-painted a "Keep it down" sign near another vet's home 2 blocks over. They covered for him. Don tried to spin it. Said it was just private frustrations. Said it was taken out of context. Nobody bought it. I posted one of the clips. Just Brad and Don talking about how the family needs to move on. And if they keep this up, we might have to find a way to shut it down. It was like lighting a match in dry brush. Veterans from all over Tennessee started showing up at HOA meetings. The local news ran a story titled, "HOA President Caught in Anti-Veteran Plot?" People on our street printed photos of Michael in uniform and put them in their windows. Some built little flag shrines in their yards. Even folks who didn't know him. It made the local news. Then national. Don was forced to resign. Brad lost every client he had, one by one. People left bad reviews, shared the clips, and made sure his business name was burned into the internet with shame. But I wasn't clean in all of this either. I let my anger carry me. After Brad's arrest, I drove past his house one night and saw him on the porch, out on bail, staring at the road. I rolled my window down and said, "You didn't just disrespect a soldier. You disrespected a brother. And you'll never live that down." He just looked at me. Hollow. Broken. Like he knew it was over. The truth is, I became someone else during all this. Obsessed. I stopped eating right. Stopped sleeping. My wife begged me to let it go. Said we got justice. But it didn't feel like justice. It felt like war. One day, Ethan came to me and said, "Dad, Uncle Mike wouldn't want you like this." He was right. I stood in the driveway that night, holding what was left of the original flag. The one Brad destroyed. I lit a fire in the pit out back, placed the torn fabric inside, and stood silently as it burned. I forgave Michael for dying. Then I forgave myself for what came after. Brad moved within 6 months. Couldn't sell the house. Left it abandoned. Don disappeared too. Rumor was he moved out of state. Never apologized. But everyone remembers. They don't mess with veterans here anymore. And every year, on the anniversary of Michael's death, we light candles again. This time, no one dares say a word.